Hey guys, Dread here, and I'm unhappy with how things have gone here in TF2. And although you've seen past videos where I've criticized shit that didn't need to be criticized, and had my mind kind of twisted. And honestly, if you don't care about what I say anymore because I've put out some stupid things, I don't quite blame you. I'm trying to put myself in the right direction, really. But the problem with that is it's hard for me to make content that hasn't already been made. And I'd like to help JLF make content that hasn't already been made. So by me taking up some content, that leaves him without as much ideas. So I've just been realistically trying to thunk up my own ideas because no one really cares about this channel too much. But, I mean, I just paid for an intro because I was like, screw it, let's start making vids that are okay. And that's worked. No, I'm just kidding. That has gone absolutely terrible. And so far, I'd say our approval rating's gone through the ground, down to hell. And so, we are going to be looking at something that I also think went to hell and needs to come back up. And that's the heavy. I used to be a heavy main. I mained him for a decently long time, and he still remains my most played class. Even though I've switched off to medic main, heavy always will remain in my heart as one of my favorite TF2 characters. He's kind-hearted, even though he looks stupid. It's actually been shown that he's quite smart and has much money. So, if he can make a lot of money, he must have some brains. But with all those brains, you can't function very good as a mercenary if you don't have good weapons to use. And yeah, Heavy has stock, and he has Tomislav. But that's realistically all there is, in my opinion, that is good. I don't see Heavy being a class that's meant to tank by himself. Although Heavy is the tankiest class in the game, he's not very high on the survivability scale. And although he has Sandwich and Banana, which are very good items, in fact, they're one of his best items, but they're not quite enough to keep him alive, and most times heavies are pocketed. But all around, heavy's still very slow, and if his medic is so much as low health and runs to go get a meth pack, well, you're kind of screwed. Because heavy is the target of the enemy team. If there's a heavy, you're almost guaranteed to be firing at him, because he tanks out the most damage to the enemy team. Now, Heavy's weapons, although very fast firing and somewhat diverse in what they do, Natasha and Huan, they're not really as viable. Natasha, damage penalties, and although many people use them, and it's a great weapon for MPM, just like Brass Beats, which we really should not mention because it's not even worth trying to play with. Well, the problem with them is we haven't gotten a heavy update in quite a while. Next update is supposed to be heavy update. Yeah, but exactly how many items are we going to get? We can't be certain at all. We can never be certain. And that's mostly because there are 3 people working on the TF team. And that is a problem. TF2 has stayed alive for a long time. And although people say its community is rough around the edges, like I once said, and I'm terribly wrong about that, because TF2's community has been able to keep it alive for quite a while, and that's the problem. As Valve increases its work effort on CSGO and other games, they decrease their work effort on TF2. But if we can show enough support, they will come back. TF2 still makes a shitload of money. I see people with new skins every day. I myself recently bought a medic, unusual. Most things in TF2 are quite overpriced though. If you look in the Valve store, way too expensive. Everything there, rip-off. Now, if Valve changed that, we'd be good. And if Valve changed that, maybe it would, well, maybe it would increase the popularity in their items, so people would buy more from them, instead of just going to the community market, which is normally what people will do. If they decrease the value of their items in the regular store, people buy them from there, Valve makes more money, the TF team has a better way to work, and we can get that heavy update faster, because heavy has nothing viable to use, aside from Tomislav, Stock, Banana, Sandwich, and KGB. Now, this is my opinion. People may find the Brass Beast to be good, and I'll never talk that way. Brass Beast, I once thought was okay, until I started looking at its stats more closely. You see, Heavy is slow enough. Why would you want to make him slower? Although he has a damage buff, he pumps out a ton of damage already. You don't need to increase that. And that's why Brass Beast needs to be upgraded. I mean, sure, it can keep its damage buff, but do you have to slow the Heavy down so much to keep that? If you just change the resistances on it, it would be so much better. But, I mean, that's all kind of just my opinion. And whether or not people may think that's right, I don't care. Because on all honesty, when TF2 dies, think about all the times you had in the game. When Heavy Update comes out, if it releases another Pyro up or item, like will probably happen, Pyro is already probably one of the most well-balanced classes I view. I think the update was good for Pyro, but by adding another item, I don't think that's reasonable. He's balanced enough. If you add another item, it unbalances him. But if you add more heavy items, and maybe even some medic items, and actually make it a well-balanced update, and try and make everything viable for comp, people will come back to the game and play Heavy again. Anyway guys, I'm Dread Fury. I don't care if you like and subscribe, but I mean, come on. Support the TF2 community at least. And by doing that, you're also supporting every TF2er there is.